At 17, Mohammad Amir was bowling over 90 miles an hour, with left-arm swing so lethal it drew direct comparisons to Wasim Akram. Projections had him finishing with over 400 test wickets. He ended with 119. Between those two numbers lies the story of the most naturally gifted fast bowler who ever destroyed his own career. And it started long before anyone put a cricket ball in his hand. Gujar Khan sits well off the cricket map, dusty lanes, fields marked by uneven ground, and the echo of tennis balls on concrete. Mohammad Amir grew up here, the youngest of 7 siblings, in a home where dreams rarely stretched beyond the next meal. There were no manicured outfields, no sight of a professional coach, just a patch of earth behind the family house and a battered bat that changed hands among neighborhood kids. Amir's first lessons in pace came not from a bowling machine, but from racing to outsmart older boys on rough makeshift pitches. He learned to swing the ball with a tennis ball, improvising on surfaces that punished every mistake. The town's only cricket ground doubled as a grazing field for goats. In the evenings, the air filled with the thud of homemade stumps being knocked over and the laughter of boys who played for pride, not prizes. Local accounts remember Amir as a wiry teenager with a slingshot action, bowling for hours under the fading sun, his ambition outstripping the boundaries of his surroundings. There was no formal academy, no sponsor, just raw, restless energy. For most in Gujar Khan, cricket was a pastime. For Amir, it became an escape, a chance to chase something bigger than the limits set by poverty and place. His story began far from the spotlight, in a place where talent was its own currency and every overbowled was a small act of rebellion against circumstance. By the time Mohammad Amir broke into Pakistan's national side in 2009, the numbers behind his rise told a story that even seasoned selectors struggled to believe. At just 17, he was clocking over 90 miles per hour, 145 kilometers per hour, slinging the ball with a natural left-arm action that left established batsmen guessing. In his first 7 test matches, Amir took 19 wickets at an average of 18.36, a figure that set him apart from his peers and placed him among the most effective debutants in modern cricket. His wickets did not come against second-tier opposition either. He dismissed top-order batsmen from Sri Lanka, Australia, New Zealand, and England, often with deliveries that swung late and cut sharply off the seam. Match footage from the 2009 to 2010 season shows Amir hustling in from a long run-up, the ball fizzing past the bat before keepers or slips could react. Even veteran commentators paused to note how rarely a teenager combined such pace with control. Wasim Akram, himself a legend, publicly compared Amir's early spells to his own breakthrough years. Analysts began projecting Amir as a future leader of Pakistan's attack, someone who could threaten long-standing records if his body and form held. At 17, he had already outpaced most of his generation, not just in raw speed, but in the ability to swing the ball both ways, set up experienced batsmen, and deliver breakthroughs under pressure. These early achievements weren't just numbers on a scorecard. They created a sense of expectation among teammates, coaches, and fans that Pakistan had found a prodigy capable of rewriting what was possible for a left-arm fast bowler. The stakes, from this point on, could hardly have been higher. Mazhar Majid operated in the shadows of Pakistan's cricket world, presenting himself as a sports agent with connections to foreign contracts and sponsorships. His real business, though, was far removed from the official side of the game. In 2010, Majid negotiated a deal that would see £150,000 exchanged, not for a match result, but for the guarantee of specific no-balls during the Lord's Test. The arrangement was precise. Bowlers would deliver no balls at moments agreed in advance, allowing betting syndicates to profit from wagers on those exact deliveries. The fix was designed to be invisible, buried within the ordinary chaos of play. The plan might have stayed hidden if not for Mazhar Mahmood, an undercover journalist for the News of the World. Mahmood, posing as a wealthy businessman, approached Majid under the pretense of seeking introductions to players. Over a series of meetings in London hotels, Mahmood's team used hidden cameras to record every detail, the cash handover, Majid's instructions, and the explicit promise that 2 no-balls would be bowled at pre-arranged points in the match. Majid explained the mechanics. Amir would bowl the first no-ball in the 3rd over of the first innings. Asif would deliver the second at a later moment. The players, young and financially vulnerable, were drawn in with promises of easy money and reassurances that such arrangements were common. The sting operation captured every exchange, every envelope of cash, every promise. In that hotel room, corruption breached the team's inner circle. The next act would unfold on the field, watched by millions, as the fix moved from whispered agreement to public spectacle. On the morning of August 27, 2010, Lord's became the stage for an act of deception that would shake world cricket. In the 3rd over of England's first innings, Mohammad Amir thundered in and planted his front foot well over the crease, a no-ball so glaring that television replays caught it instantly. The umpire's arm shot out, the scoreboard flickered, and betting markets overseas erupted with sudden activity. Minutes later, in the 15th over, Mohammad Asif delivered another overstepped front foot, again matching the timing and sequence agreed in the hotel room days before. Each no-ball triggered a spike in betting, with the odds on a no-ball payout plunging just before the umpire's signal. The evidence was not circumstantial. Broadcast footage, betting exchange data, and the undercover recordings from the News of the World sting operation all aligned to the second. The International Cricket Council responded within weeks. On November 5, 2010, the ICC Disciplinary Tribunal handed Amir a 5-year ban from all forms of cricket, citing a deliberate breach of trust and the need to protect the game's integrity. The ban was total: no domestic matches, no international contracts, no sanctioned practice. The United Kingdom's legal system followed. In January 2011, Amir stood trial at Manchester Crown Court alongside Salman Butt and Mohammad Asif. The court found him guilty of conspiracy to cheat and conspiracy to accept corrupt payments. The sentencing judge, referencing Amir's youth and the pressure exerted by senior teammates, imposed a 6-month prison sentence. Amir served half that sentence before his release, but the record was permanent. The ICC statement called the punishment a warning to all players, and the court's remarks described a betrayal of millions of fans. Amir, once the youngest star of Pakistan's attack, was now cut off, his career, reputation, and future locked away with the clang of a cell door and the signature on a disciplinary order. The 5-year ban left Mohammad Amir stranded in the prime years of a fast bowler's development. Deprived of sanctioned matches, he lost access to professional training facilities, medical support, and the rhythm of high-level competition. When he returned, radar guns showed his bowling speed had dropped from the high 140s to barely 135 kilometers an hour. The kinetic chain that once powered his slingshot action had weakened, shoulder strength lagged, run-up mechanics grew less efficient, and hip-shoulder separation shrank. Sports physiology studies point to a loss of fast-twitch muscle fibers and a disrupted bowling workload, both of which are difficult to rebuild after years of inactivity. But the damage didn't stop at the body. The UK court order required Amir to attend regular counseling, and the Pakistan Cricket Board assigned him to a sports psychologist. Reports from that period describe a teenager grappling with anxiety, insomnia, and a sense of isolation that only deepened with public scrutiny. Amir later spoke of mental torture and a constant fear of never being forgiven. The sessions tracked his depression and anxiety scores, confirming a moderate but persistent emotional toll. For a young athlete, the exile was not only a physical setback, but a psychological wound, one that no amount of training could fully heal. The path back to professional cricket would demand more than just fitness. It would test his resilience at every turn. Mohammad Amir's return to international cricket delivered moments that reminded the world what had once seemed possible. In June 2017, under the glare of the Champions Trophy final, he produced a spell that cut through India's famous top order, removing Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Shikhar Dhawan in the space of 21 balls. That performance, 3 wickets for 16 runs in 6 overs, set the tone for Pakistan's victory and briefly restored Amir's place among the game's elite. For a few weeks, Talk of redemption replaced whispers of scandal. Yet the comeback never became a second act. By the time Amir announced his retirement from Test cricket at just 27, his tally stood at 119 wickets from 36 matches. The number, impressive by most standards, was a fraction of what analysts believed he could have achieved. Cricket statisticians, using projection models based on his early strike rate and the typical career arc of elite left-arm fast bowlers, estimated a likely total above 400 Test wickets, placing him in the company of Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis. The 5-year ban had stolen his prime. Peers like Shoaib Akhtar and Wasim Akram voiced their frustration, calling Amir's early exit a loss for the sport. The gap between his final record and his projected legacy became a cautionary figure, proof of how quickly potential can be erased. The 2017 Champions Trophy remains the highlight, a flash of the bowler Amir might have been, set against the reality of a career forever defined by what it could not deliver. In an era where match-fixing scandals still surface, cricket's integrity remains fragile. Young stars face the same pressures and temptations Amir did. The lesson is urgent. Talent alone can't protect a legacy. Only choices can. The game's future depends on who learns that and who doesn't.